Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday game day edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock, where the after-hours clinics are open, and Brock Rock and Wine is coming up on July 29th. And of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. If you had hail, or think you might have had hail in this recent event, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. It is game day, LSU in Florida at the College World Series. The championship series begins at 6 o'clock. It will very likely be Brandon Sproat against Ty Floyd on the mound. We are expecting a crosswind today at Charles Schwab Field, and the wind blowing out on Sunday at Charles Schwab Field. So it should play vastly different. The field should play vastly different than it did. It has over the last 4 days, where LSU had to play 4 games in 4 days and played 4 very low scoring games over that time period. So this is what you play for, and it's very reminiscent of what we saw in 2017 with LSU in Florida, of course. So that was Paul Maneri and Kevin O'Sullivan. This time it is Jay Johnson and Kevin O'Sullivan, and will be a terrific way to catapult LSU back into national prominence in baseball, to win the program's 7th national title, to beat the Florida Gators in so doing, to reassert dominance over them in the league. Yes, I'm here for it. And you're 2 wins away. 2 wins away. And it'll start tonight, most likely with Ty Floyd. So we'll say some good mornings. Y'all know about Ty Floyd. Pitched really well against Wake Forest for 5 innings on Monday. 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. And Scooter Allen said 12,000 watching. I don't think 12,000. Those are 12,000 subscribers. Scooter, thank you for your thank you for your excitement. I know there's 12.2 thousand subscribers on the channel, not 12,000 people watching right now. That would be magnificent, by the way. If you want to encourage 12,000 people to watch us right now, that would be awesome. Dude, I had to take a double take there for a second. I was like, 12,000. Like, no, not yet. We'll get there. Anyway, so Floyd was magnificent. Of course, things kind of came apart in the 6th inning. We all know the controversy. Terrio, I thought, had a really interesting take yesterday. As Jay Johnson said on at Friday's press conference, or maybe it was Thursday after. It was either Thursday after the game or Friday's press conference. Jay Johnson was asked about Travinski, noted that he had been injured, tried to play through it on Monday, was not available Tuesday, tried to do some more Wednesday, might have been available for a pinch hit Thursday, and we'll see how he feels today. But, and if he's healthy, you got an interesting decision to make if you're Jay Johnson, who catches. Terrio if you missed it on AFR on Friday, I would highly recommend go find AFR on demand YouTube podcast. Go to hour 3, but the middle of hour 3. And he, I thought, did an excellent job explaining defensively the catching position and why receiving and framing pitches, why catchers start at a knee, something I didn't even realize. He said instead of catchers starting in the squat and when there's a breaking pitch having to move their glove down, they start with their glove. You'll see them tap it on the ground and then they come up to catch the ball to try to train the umpire's eye. So instead of the umpire seeing the glove do this, thinking it's low, when you're coming up into the zone, the ump thinks it's a strike. It was really, really well done. I mean, Terrier's obviously knows a tremendous amount of baseball. He actually explains it very well, and it's one of the reasons he's a great coach at the youth league level as well. He does a great job of explaining the fundamentals of the game in a way that anybody can understand it. All that to say, when Ty Floyd kind of fell apart in the sixth, maybe if Travinsky wasn't injured and was a little more still behind the plate, maybe you steal some of those strikes that were close. So maybe it's Milazzo tonight. We'll see. If I'm gonna tell you this though, if the wind is blowing out, and y'all know how I feel, but if the wind is about the catching position and Milazzo and everything, if the wind is blowing out, you got to have Travinsky's bat in the lineup because it's going to be a day where you're going to have to elevate the baseball to run it out of there. So, anyway, because I think Florida's going to score. You have two very similar offenses. So if this is a day where the wind shifts and the wind is blowing out, that park plays differently. We've all seen it. I mean, the first day of the series last Saturday, or last Friday, excuse me. Each of the first two games had, or each of the first three games, I believe, had 3 homers apiece on that opening weekend. So yeah, I think if Travinsky's healthy, if he's healthy and the wind is blowing out, I think you start Hayden. Any of those not happening, it's Milazzo. Okay, let's say some good morning. See what y'all think, what questions y'all got, fire away. YouTube, do me a solid, smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. Good morning, Kelly Gross, Bubba Smith. Hey, Dad, Earl, good morning. Jerry, what's going on in San Antonio? Jerry, making your way back, huh? Arizona, now San Antonio. You're getting closer, dog. You're getting closer. Gonna miss you tonight, Jerry. We'll be over at Don Juan for a whiskey and wine, so we'll watch the game for those who are interested. I probably should mention, so we will have an extended pregame show today. So Jimmy Ott and I will be in studio at 4 o'clock. So we will be live on 104.5 ESPN, Eagle 98.1, and the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. So help us spread the word if you wouldn't mind. So we will be doing an extended pregame starting at 4. And we'll take you right up to 5:30 when the LSU Radio Network pregame begins. And then, of course, that'll be on Eagle 98.1 only. And then the game, and then after the game, T-Bob and I will be at Don Juan for whiskey and wine. And we'll be there to watch the game, too, I guess I should mention. So, I'll leave studio pregame at 5:30 and head over to Don Juan. So we'll look to see y'all there. Jason Horn, what kicks you going today? Probably my purple and gold Jordans, man. I mean, do I have any other option today? Last time I wore them, Jason, wore them over to Don Juan for whiskey and wine in the Kentucky series, and LSU won 14-0. I think I'll rock them again, bro. All right, Lyndon Breeden, counting myself as 11,957. Well, thank you very much. Lowell Cormier, what's going on? Any concerns with the bottom of the lineup producing hits? Well, sure. But you know what, Lowell? I think that's not a problem unique to LSU at this point, right? I mean, look at Wake Forest. That was a team that averaged almost double-digit runs a season over the course of the season. That they had 8 guys in their everyday lineup hitting over 300. Their team batting average was 308. They went to Omaha and hit 160 as a team. So it wasn't just the bottom of their lineup. It's a couple of factors. The park plays bigger, especially when the wind is blowing out, and you had elite high-level pitching in this College World Series. Everybody has it. So, yeah, man, I mean, is there a concern? Sure. I mean, you want everybody in your lineup to hit, but everybody is dealing with that to this point. So the real question, Lowell, is, and the reports are the wind is supposed to shift. That's what the forecast is, that the wind is going to shift. And then today it'll be a crosswind. Tomorrow it'll be blowing out. Well, I fully expect you're going to see more offense, Anyway. All right, Scott Simon, what's going on? Trivia Carter, strong side, good morning. Drew, top of the morning, passing through Joplin, Missouri, on the way to Omaha. Okay, man, y'all are going to make it. Fantastic. Scott Perkins, what's up? Kirk Taylor, good morning. Baby Bobby, Hunter Broadhead. Travis Michelle, good morning in Austin. Look at us, man, all over the place. Joplin, Missouri, San Antonio, Austin, Texas. Orlando, appreciate y'all for being here. Kirk, I got a fever and it's typhoid. No, it's I got a Kirk. You messed it. It's I got a fever, and the only prescription is more typhoid. Uh, Shout out to Christopher Walken. Randall, good morning, Matt. Can LSU come back and win the Natty if they lose tonight? Sure, Randall. At this point, neither you nor I should put anything past this team after what they've accomplished here in the last 3 days. And with a shell of its pitching staff coming out and beating Tennessee and Wake Forest, and then turning around and beating Wake Forest again in the manner in which they did behind Paul Skeens. Yes, they can. Sure, they can. If they lose tonight, sure they can. Now, I would love it very much if you turn the tables on Florida. If you go win this game tonight and you put all of the pressure on them, if you win behind Ty Floyd, that gives you all the leverage going into tomorrow, which is to say, maybe your bats show up in a big way against Waldrop, and you slug your way to a win behind likely Nate Ackenhausen, and you win the national championship, or Waldrop shoves, you have a game to play with, so no harm, no foul. You come back on Monday and you face a freshman in Caglione who's really good, lefty and two-way guy and all that sort of stuff. You'd have your bullpen reset, potentially Thatcher Hurd could be ready to go. Do you get Skeens an inning or two on 3 days rest? I don't know. It's for the national show. We'll see. But you have that conversation when you get there. But yeah. Carl the Cat, T-Bob's going to be uncontrollable tonight. Yes, he is. And I'm here for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. The only thing that would make this better is if this was like the deciding game. It's the only thing that would make it better. But I'm fired up for it. Scooter Allen, Lord have mercy. My wife and I knew the squeeze was coming. We held our breath on the Morgan play. How awesome was the completion of the play? Go Tigers. Yeah, Scooter. I know there were 6 elements in that play that had to be perfect. Morgan charging, fielding cleanly, transferring from glove to hand, flipping accurately. Milazzo had to catch it while maintaining position, and then swipe tag. All 6 of those things had to be perfect. If Morgan stumbles at all, if he doesn't field the ball cleanly in his glove, if the transfer isn't clean, if the flip to Milazzo isn't on target, if Milazzo doesn't handle the catch, if Milazzo doesn't swipe tag, all 6 of those things had to be perfect. And they were, and it was amazing. Jay Johnson said after the game they practice that play all the time. And it showed. Whenever you practice something like that much, muscle memory takes over. And it was awesome. Greatest defensive play outside of Ray Wright at the 2000 College World Series. Going over the wall at Rob Edmund Youth. Bojack, Shelby Kelly, does HUDCO do chimney work? Are you talking about like you're flashing, Shelby? Or like do you need a new chimney? Like do you need masonry to redo your bricks? Let me know, Shelby. Either way, if you need flashing work and stuff around, like, 'cause you have like a leak around your gym, we can absolutely do that. Either way, let me know, because I can make a recommendation if it's depending on what you need. If it's not something we do. Brian Penton, good morning from Music City. Let's get game 1, yes sir. Homegrown son, good luck to all LSU fans. We're looking forward to an amazing series between 2 great teams. May everyone play their best to be injury-free. Well said, well said. Jesse Post, what's going on? Need to get after those Florida bats early. Or need to get after Florida with the bats early. You know what? There's something else just to file away. Because Ty Floyd does throw that fastball with the incredible spin rate, so it elevates late, right? That's the thing about Floyd. He throws an elevated fastball because he's got the huge spin rate. So as it approaches, it elevates. Some guys they'll cut, they'll dive, they'll run. His elevates. So the problem with that pitch is there's a problem with any pitch, right? If you don't execute it. But if it flattens, now you've got a letter high fastball that you've grooved to a really good hitter. And normally, as we've seen this week in that park, that don't matter because you just hit a long fly ball. If the wind's blowing out, that's a problem because, like we saw against Kentucky, remember Ty Floyd wasn't terrible before the rains came on that Saturday, or not at Kentucky. I'm sorry, in the regional. It was in the regional. No. It was against Kentucky. It was game 2 against Kentucky. He gave up 3 runs. He gave up 3 solo home runs. So he will give up long fly balls. He will give up home runs, even if guys. And he pitched well. Like Floyd's final line in that game, if you recall, here you go, here it is. Of course, LSU won it 8-3, and LSU slammed the door after Floyd's exit. But he gave up homers in the first, the third, and the fourth. And he ended up going 3 1/3, 3 runs on 7 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, but the 3 runs were 3 solo homers. So that's something to watch. Just saying that's something to watch with Floyd today. All right, smash the like button if you would. 277 watching live. I love it. Thank you so much there on YouTube and on Facebook. 45 of you over there. Thanks so much for being here. If you're on Facebook, please like the Matt Moscone page, share the post if you haven't done so yet. Bubba Tatum, can't put into words how much I need the Tigers to win this series. I may have to move if we lose. Bubba, if I'm not mistaken, is down in Tampa, right? So, yes, surrounded by Gators, that would be dreadful. Mark Borch, good morning. Charlie Gale, Scott Flowers, Trey's play was reminiscent of Derek Jeter's shuffle at home plate. So, Scott, we talked about that on the post-game show stream that I did. And it was the first thing that I said. It was like Jeter's flip when they got Jeremy Giambi against the A's. And similarly, Posada catching and swipe tagging and getting Giambi on the leg was amazing. But Jeter on that play, it was incredible because he had no business even being involved in that play. He came from across the field, just as instinct comes running from short across the field when he wasn't even supposed to be there, but just did it, flipped it. Yeah, I mean sometimes instinctual baseball takes over. Justin Sheffield, Ja'Cory Jackson need to get some guys to work the count, get 2-2, 3-1, make Florida's pitchers throw pressure pitches. So, Ja'Cory, I'll tell you this, man. I think it depends what your strategy is. Here's my point. So, you faced Rhett Lauder the other day, and he was in such command. And when Rhett Lauder gets ahead of you, and he's throwing 3 pitches for strikes, and he can throw any 3 pitch in any count. When he gets ahead of you, now he's got you. And so the best strategy sometimes might be, hey, look, the best pitch you're going to swing in this at-bat, that you're going to see in this at-bat is the first one. So if it's good, hit it. I mean, Dylan Cruz swung, if I'm not mistaken, the first pitch of the game and got an infield single. Anyway, so my point is, yes, like I do agree there's a strategy to that, which is work a count, drive up a pitch count, get them out early. Make them throw high leverage, intensity, pressure pitches, and I agree with that strategy as well. And I think you see that consistently, really from 2 guys in this lineup, and it's Beloso and Dugas. Those are the 2 guys that really do that, and it's why, by the way, when you look at this team's statistics, of course, Dylan Cruz leads the team with an absolutely absurd .563 on base percentage, which is just obnoxious. I mean, he gets on base 56% of the time he's at the plate. But of your everyday players, Travinsky's at 479, albeit in fewer at bats. But Travinsky's only got 96 at bats. But look at Beloso and Dugas. Beloso's on base percentage is 450. Dugas is 454. So Tommy White's 430. Trey Morgan's 427. Really good players. Beloso and Dugas, their on base percentage is 20 points higher, 25 points higher than those guys, because they're really patient and they work counts and they draw walks and they get hit by pitch a lot, and so they get on base. And like I know I keep saying this a bunch, but like look at Gavin Dugas. He's only hitting 282. Like the batting average isn't otherworldly, but he's got the second highest on base percentage of the regulars behind only Cruz. So, Travinsky, yes, but Travinsky's got 100 fewer at bats than Dugas. So yeah, man, like those are the guys that I would really expect to get in there and work a count. Sonny Warmington, what's up? Rhett O'Keefe, good morning. Any truth behind the rumor Chase Burns entering the transfer portal? I don't know. By the way, Chase Burns, of course, is the phenomenal, he closed in he pitched in relief a lot in Omaha, but he can also start for him. I started last year for him. Guy throws 102 from Tennessee. I don't know if he's entering the portal. Carl the Cat, there are 11 players combined from the 2017 College World Series Finals and the majors. That's pretty incredible. Now, is that have made it to the majors or are currently in the majors? Because I think of a guy like Stevenson, right? I mean, Stevenson was playing center for LSU, and wasn't Stevenson? Was Stevenson? I always trip myself up if Stevenson was a freshman in 13 or 15. I think Stevenson was a freshman in 13. He was a junior in 17 on that team. Yeah, he was on the set. Nope. 13. Freshman was Stevenson was a freshman at 13. See, I always trip myself up on that. Let's see. Delton Dew said Floyd and Hurd will have to have their best outings of the season. You know, Delton, I'll be interested with what they do with Hurd. So Hurd threw 47 pitches 2 nights ago, which so that wouldn't completely take him off the table for tonight if you needed him to close. So that's going to be very interesting to me, Delton. Like if LSU has, let's say Floyd gets you 6 and you're up 3-2, do you go to Hurd? Or do you go Guidry Cooper to try to get you home? Which is what I think they'd probably do, is go Guidry Cooper. But I don't know. I don't know what they would do in that instance. Bo Jacks, wind blowing out. Do you like that better? Feels like the pitching could use a little help. So Bo Jacks, I think you're asking me 2 different questions there. Or I could interpret your question 2 different ways. Number 1 is, do I like it better for baseball or do I like it better for LSU? For this LSU team, it is very clear, as deep as they are into their staff, as taxed as their staff is, the wind blowing in helps because you can induce fly balls and you don't have to worry about the ball leaving the park. So from LSU's standpoint, the LSU's pitchers, yes, I like the wind blowing in. From a baseball standpoint, I don't like the fact that a pitcher can serve up an 86-mile-an-hour changeup, let her high, a hitter can crush it, and it's a fly ball out. And that's happened to benefit and to the detriment of LSU. In the Tennessee game on Tuesday, Dylan Cruz hit an absolute missile to right center. It was like 114 off the bat, something like that, and it was just a fly ball out. Like, that's not good baseball either. If a pitcher makes a mistake and a hitter puts a good swing on it, the pitcher shouldn't be rewarded. I just have a fundamental problem with that in the game of baseball, and this park lends itself to that a lot, unfortunately, when the wind's blowing in. So in the name of baseball, I don't like it. For LSU's benefit in this series, I do like the wind blowing it. Weston Weaver, Juan, good morning. Just boarded my first flight on my way back to Omaha, down with the Gators. Juan, every time I think about Florida, I think, man, there's two people I know that hate Florida more than anybody. Or let me rephrase that. The two people that I know who hate Florida more than anything are Jacob Hester and Juan. So I think about you, bro, and it would be wonderful to go get this. Donovan Adams, Murder Giraffe, Doc GTN, what's going on? Donna, let's see. Good morning. Austin Kidder, good morning. Mother-in-law is in from Ireland. Her name is Marion. She's watching Morning Scone and LSU baseball for the first time. Let's give her a go, Tigers. All right, Marion. Cheers to you. Welcome. Welcome to the States. I'm assuming, wait, is this? Well, I don't think this is your first time in the States. It's your first time watching Morning Scone and LSU baseball. Well, Marion, welcome to Nevada there, or Nevada. I think they say Nevada out there. I've always said Nevada my whole life, but I think it's actually Nevada. But welcome to the U.S. Go Tigers. And thanks for watching Morning Scone. And I wonder what the weather is like in Ireland right now compared to Vegas. Let's see. Let's pull up Dublin. Dublin, let's put a D on it. Dublin, excuse me. 61 and a little rainy. Okay. 61 and rainy right now in Dublin. Let's see Las Vegas weather. Las Vegas in June. 72, not bad. Okay. We're getting up to 102 on Thursday. Okay. Well, anyway. I don't know. Welcome, Marion. Great to see you, even virtually here. Thanks for jumping aboard the show. Donovan Thibodeau. Let's see. Anthony Court. Floyd followed by Cooper if he pitches into the sixth. Anthony, so just kind of alluded to that. I think the way they've set this up is Guidry Cooper. So now that's provided Floyd gets you there, and it really, I think, depends what the game looks like. Do you have a lead, or how close is the game? I mean, if you're down 5, I don't think you're going to Guidry or Cooper. If you're down 1, much different conversation, because I think in a regular season game, in that situation, if you're down 1, you're not going to one of your better arms. You would only do that if you had a hold and a save situation. But it's different when you're playing for a championship. Landry Miller, good morning. Me and my son Chase just landed in Omaha. Going to be one for the ages. First time with my boy. That's awesome, Landry. I'll enjoy. Dane Bergeron, good morning. Getting my liver in shape for whiskey and wine. I love it. Again, if you're just joining, big schedule today. So 4 o'clock, Jimmy Ott and I will be in the 104.5 ESPN studio for a special pregame show. You can hear it on 104.5, Eagle 98.1, of course, streaming audio, how you would listen to our shows, and on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube. So we'll be on TV as well, or we'll be on YouTube as well. We'll take you from 4 to 5:30. 5:30 is the network pregame show on Eagle 98.1, and then 6 o'clock, of course, is first pitch. As soon as pregame ends at 5:30, I'm heading over to Don Juan. T-Bob and I will watch the game at Don Juan Cigar Bar today, and then we'll be set up for whiskey and wine as soon as the game ends. So we hope to see all of you there. Donovan Thibodeau, morning, Matt. So we assume it's Floyd, Guidry, Cooper, game 1. Who do you think they line up for game 2? In that situation, Hurd through 47 pitches behind Skeens on Thursday. So, he wasn't tremendously taxed doing that. And I think on 2 days rest, you could certainly bring him back and let him start that game. Otherwise, I think you'd be looking at Ackenhausen again. I think Ackenhausen would get the start in game 2. I really do worry about Nate. He executed his pitches great, but he even said after the game, that he was throwing changeups over the plate, inducing fly ball outs because he knew with the wind blowing in they couldn't hit it out. Well, that strategy changes tomorrow if the wind's blowing out. So, and Florida is a good team with a lot of power. I mean, you got Caglione and Langford, and you got a bunch of really good bats in that lineup that can hurt you. Ghastly Gamer irks me to no end. I have notifications, and they wait till 4 minutes in to give me the notification. Hey, Ghastly Gamer, maybe like turn off notifications and then turn it back on, see if that helps. Wow, we're at 343 watching. That's awesome. Do me a favor, please smash the like button. Subscribe up to the channel if you're new. Thanks so much for being there. Brought to you by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. We do morning scone here every single day. This is episode 1,967 consecutive days we've done this show. Weekends, holidays, we've never missed. So thanks for being here. And of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. We got Hudco pinned in the chat. So for anybody who might need a roof inspection, roof repair, roof replacement, we'd love to help you out. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. DA Matt, Sports World keeps saying this is the best men's college World Series in years because the big show, LSU Tigers, are back in town. That's certainly a giant part of it. LSU being there is always going to magnify it because LSU is the biggest brand in college baseball. That's not a homer take. That's just LSU is the biggest brand. That's why they keep putting LSU. That's why they put LSU in prime time initially, and on Saturday, it's why the Jello Shot Challenge is what it is. It's why Omaha. It's just LSU is the biggest brand in college baseball. But you've also had amazing talent and high-level play and close games, and all that stuff has led to it. Michael Tolliver, good morning, Matt. If LSU wins, they sure as hell earned it. For those hoping for rain out, forget about 0% chance of rain. Good. I don't want it to rain. Carl Van Bergen, morning, Matt. Now I'm saying good morning from Split, Croatia. I was in Vienna 2 weeks ago. I hate missing all these games on my trip, but absence may be the good luck charm for LSU. Phil Smith, what's going on? Gulf South, rare times you can get Terrio to be serious about baseball and AFR. It's some of the best baseball knowledge out there. He's very true. It's true. And he's great. He's really great. All right, games at 6. Matt, how can we be in the Natty? We lost those midweek games. Kevin tries. You know what, Kevin? I'm not even going to dogpile anybody who was crapping on midweek game losses or the bullpen or any of the other things that people hitting in the clutch, any of the buzzwords that became the echo chamber takes all throughout the year. Let's just go win 2 games and I'll celebrate. Michael Boudreau, good morning. Alex Barnes, please tell me you watched T-Bob's open to the show yesterday. Epic. I saw a clip of it and watched a little bit of it. In the same way that someone probably heard me doing the receipts bit after they punched their ticket to Omaha, saw a minute of it and was like, okay, this is excessive. That's kind of how I felt too. So I get why people love it. And I do the same thing sometimes, but sometimes my cup also is overfloweth, if that makes sense. David White, does Jordan Thompson figure it out this series? So first of all, David, I would like to say Jordan Thompson has been sensational defensively, and he deserves a tremendous amount of credit. I know the one error he committed was, when he was at second base, when he and Dugas flipped, but Terrio even pointed out yesterday, he's like, everything about playing second and short is different, from foot positioning, footwork, how you approach the ball, like everything is flipped. So it's almost like playing left guard and right guard. Instead of your right hand in the ground, your left hand's in the ground. Instead of your right foot back, your left foot's back. And everything is different. Like, it changes. So he's been sensational defensively and deserves that credit. Offensively, he has completely struggled. But I'll say it again, even Dylan Cruz had a 2-for-22 streak this year, the best player in college baseball. Sometimes guys fight it, and sometimes that happens in Omaha. Brad Cressy fought it in Omaha in 2000. He was hitless the first 2+ games into the third game in Omaha. He didn't have a hit until his last at-bat when he finally got a hit again. He got a double against Florida State in the game to send LSU to the championship, and then was 0 for in the championship until the hit to score Terrio. So Even the best players fight it sometimes, man. So hopefully he can get going a little bit and have some productive ABs. Dane, are you doing pregame at Don Juan? No, Dane. Pregame is not at the pregame is at studio. When pregame ends at 5:30, I head to Don Juan. So I'll be at Don Juan probably around 5:45, right around there. Kirk, if Floyd gives you 5 1/3 and only 2 runs, you'll be in great shape. I agree. If y'all are wondering about Florida, that's one other thing we can talk about a little bit. Florida's bullpen. Florida has a great rotation. They do. Florida's starting rotation with Sproat, Waldrop, and Kaggs is fantastic. I mean, that's as good a rotation as there is in the country of the three. We saw Waldrop last year, and he was awesome. He pitched for Southern Miss. That was actually the game LSU came back and won. Waldrop handcuffed LSU into the 7th. Cruz doubled off of him in the 7th, and then he had struck out like 5 in a row, 6 in a row, something like that. And then Cruz doubled off of him in the 7th, and they pulled him, and LSU rallied and won the game 7-6 and 10. But Waldrop's fantastic. Now, he's got an ERA of 3.99 in 99 and a third innings pitched. He's got 154 strikeouts. He throws a split finger fastball, which is a disgusting pitch, and his strikeout numbers are legit. That's game 2. Sproat tonight is a really fantastic arm talent, but this year he hasn't been as dominant. Stuff is good, but he just hasn't. His ERA is 4.66, 127 strikeouts in 102 innings pitched. Sproat really struggled earlier this year. He's a junior righty. He's going to be a high draft pick, 6'3". He's going to be a high draft pick this year. But in his last 6 outings, really certainly since the SEC tournament, every time out, it's like 6 innings, 3 runs. Against Vanderbilt, 6 innings pitched, 2 runs on 7 hits. Texas Tech in the regional, 6 innings pitched, 3 runs on 4 hits. South Carolina in the Super Regional, 6 innings pitched, 3 runs on 9 hits. Virginia in their College World Series opener, 6 1/3, 3 runs on 5 hits. I mean, you'd have to go back to the Kentucky game, May 19th, their last regular season weekend, where he allowed 6 runs on 7 hits and 5 innings pitched. Now, you go back further in the year, like Ole Miss touched him up for 5 runs on 8 hits. Auburn touched him up Auburn touched him up for 8 runs on 4 hits. So he's A&M touched him up for 5 runs on 7 hits. He's had moments this year where he struggled, where teams have gotten through to him. And so your bats can get going against Brandon Sproat tonight. This is not an impossible task. I would say the hardest game of the 3, provided it gets to 3, is going to be tomorrow against Waldrop. But the flip side of that is Cruz, Dugas, Morgan, Pearson, Thompson. Most of your lineup has already seen Waldrop. They faced him last year. So it's not to say it's easy, but it's also not unfamiliar. But today is a day, I'm telling you, man, the bats can get going today. The bats can get going today against Brandon Sproat. They can. This is very possible to get going today. I don't know that I look at this and go, this is a 2-1 ball game. Kevin Sparks said Jordan Thompson's clueless at the plate right now. I'll tell you this. Becky Harrod, good morning. Kevin Williams, good morning. And did they move the series up to start the weekend from years past? So about 2 years ago, Kevin, they started this. They moved the championship series from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They eliminated 2 off days in the College World Series is effectively what they did. Because it was just too long. I mean, it dragged out to 2 weeks. So they did it this way to make it more fan-friendly, more appealing on TV instead of dragging it out for so long. So to Kevin's a point about Jordan Thompson being clueless. I actually was on the phone with a buddy, and one of the things that, like, honestly, that's so beneficial to me. And I know I say this, y'all probably heard me say this often, is I've developed some really good relationships with scouts, and these are people who live their life at baseball fields. They watch ball from every level. They're scouting all the high school circuits, the elite level camps, and all star circuits and everything. They watch a ton of college baseball. They're scouting. They're going all over the country to find the best players. So all they do is they spend like every day of their life at ballparks. Hang on one second. I'll finish that thought. Drew's backpack's me. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Um, and anyway, so having relationships with scouts is really beneficial. And I was talking to one literally yesterday morning. I was asking about LSU's offense, and Wake's offense struggling. We started talking about LSU's offense struggling. And we talked about Thompson, and the way this person said it to me was, Thompson is, and this isn't just Thompson. A lot of guys are like this. And he said, like, Travinsky's like this at LSU. He mentioned a few other guys, but anyway, he said they're guess hitters. They're trying to cheat to the fastball because they want to load on their front foot and get the barrel out ahead and pull a fastball. And so that's what you've seen with Travinsky when he hit like 9 homers in 18 games. It was incredible. He was cheating to the fastball, and when someone threw him a fastball, he didn't miss it, right? So Thompson is similar, and it's just that he's going through this series where you have such high-level pitching, and nobody's throwing him a fastball. So, if you start him off with an off-speed pitch that you can throw for a strike, you get him behind in the count, or that he swings and misses if he's cheating to a fastball. Now you're ahead of him, and he's got to be defensive at the plate. And if you keep throwing breaking balls, it's hard to hit when you're locating, right? So I think that's a big part of what's happening right now. So, wow. Blake Money started game 1 against Florida last year. That's so weird. Against Hunter Barco, who obviously is no longer there. Sproat started game 2, and LSU roughed up Sproat in game 2 last year. LSU won that game 16-4. So if you want some good vibes, here you go. This was Sproat's line in game 2 last year when LSU beat him 16-4. Sproat went 2 1/3, 6 runs on 4 hits, struck out 1, walked 2. They chased him, and then they did work against the bullpen as well. And if you're wondering, as far as the hitters that did well, Trey Morgan was 2 for 2 in the game. Dylan Cruz was 1 for 1. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. Trey Morgan was 2 for 6. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong column. Trey Morgan was 2 for 6. Cruz was 1 for 4. I'm looking at guys who were Jordan Thompson, 3 for 6 in that game last year when Sproat started. And now Sproat was chased after 2 1/3. Joe Bear was 2 for 4 in that game. Dugas was 2 for 4 in that game. And that's all the guys that are still playing. So LSU had success. Morgan homered off of Sproat in the first inning. So you got to him early, and you chased him in the third. Joe Bear homered off of him in the third inning. Dugas homered in the third inning off of him. So Morgan, Joe Bear, and Dugas all homered off of Sproat last year, which that's a pretty good sign, right? So You've had guys have success against, like they've seen him and had success against him. Pinky Ava 101 Roblox, will pregame be on YouTube? Yes. 4 o'clock, me and Jimmy Ott in the ESPN studio will be on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Yes. Samuel Smith, 4 hours away from Omaha. Thank you all so much for watching. Shout out to Brock and Hudco. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. After Hours Clinic is open. Remember, Brock Rock and Wine in Tiger Stadium, July 29th. Great fundraiser. Wine, food, live music in South Stadium Club in Tiger Stadium. Get your tickets, brortho.com. And of course, Hudco Roofing. I know our crews are all over today. Our crews are in River Bend today, by the way. Tons of inspections in River Bend after that hail this week. So no matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, we got boots on the ground to come service you. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Let's hope for whiskey and wine, not whiskey and wine. I got it. Well done, Murder Giraffe. Emmett Bean, what's going on? Samuel Smith, Kevin O'Sullivan is weird looking to me. Just something about him. He's just a jacked up guy who's approaching 60. Riley Carpenter, morning, Matt. Checking in from London. Any chance Paul Skeens available to pitch if it gets stretched to game 3? So, been asked that question a bajillion times, Riley, and or Raleigh, excuse me. And here's my answer. If LSU is up 3-2 in the 9th inning, I think Skeens will come out and close. I think it would be the same thing that you saw happen with Lewis Coleman in the 09 final, where Renato started, Chad Jones came in and was throwing that wicked hammer, and then Coleman closed it for you. I think that's what they would do. If you're up and you need 3 outs to win the national championship, Skeens is on the bump to get the final 3 outs. That's the scenario I see unfolding. If it gets to game 3. Tommy Howard, good morning, Matt, from my couch. Oh, man. Old buzzard. Okay, good morning from Beaumont. All right. Shout out Beaumont, Texas. Let's see. There's a bunch of people asking about Chase Burns. Here, so, first of all, I don't know if Chase Burns has entered the portal. I don't know if that's formal. I don't see that there's so let's see, this is Noah Darling, who is, all right, he's a writer. He is with the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. Okay. College Baseball Central. I determine whether or not you feel this is legitimate or not. Whatever. I mean, that's one. I'm not seeing any other reports from anybody else valid. It's just this one person, Noah Darling, who has a college baseball website. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not seeing anybody else report it. Like, for something like that, I would want to see Wes Rucker report it. I want to see Kendall Rogers or Aaron Fitt. Someone who has those types of relationships. I mean, that's, I'm not saying Burns isn't in the portal or won't enter the portal. I'm just saying before I go that far, I need to see it from someone other than Noah Darling of College Baseball Central. I'm sorry. That's just, and again, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I need to see it from someone more credible. Here's what I will say, not specific to Chase Burns. Before LSU left for Omaha, that week after they beat Kentucky, and it was actually the day they left for Omaha. It was Wednesday, the day they left. So, what, 10 days ago? I had a conversation about the roster. I won't disclose with whom, and I think you can respect that. And talk to this person about the transfer portal. And this person specifically said to me, the person didn't sneeze. This person specifically said to me, of the top 10 players that will be in the portal, LSU will get 4, maybe 5 of the top 10 players in the portal. Now, we talked a couple of names, not all names, because some players I don't think had been in the portal yet. And a lot of those portal conversations, which weird, y'all, is a lot of portal. You see it happen very quickly, right? Where a guy will go in the portal and then a day later is announced his commitment. Well, so often those things happen through back channels, meaning a family member, a player rep, something like that will reach out to someone from a school and say, would you be interested in this player if they're in the portal? Because the player and like a school can't have contact with the player until they're in the portal. Cannot have contact. So I think that's in part why we didn't discuss names. But I think a lot of those conversations are had before players ever even get in the portal. I don't think I know. But again, not specifically player and coach, because that can't happen, right? So now I will tell you this is an assumption I made, okay? So that's what I was told. If you look at the end of the recruiting cycle, of the top 10 players in the portal, LSU will get 4, maybe 5. My assumption was that one of those players was Colby Shelton from Alabama, the freshman slugger. And whenever he went into the portal, I texted somebody that tweet. I was like, and the reply to me was like, they're on it or something like that. So maybe that was the one they weren't sure if they were going to get. Shelton ultimately picked Florida. But all this to say, and I know this is very nondescript and it's probably not helping you, but just so my point in telling you all this is just to say that LSU and Jay Johnson are very aware of what's happening in the portal, very aware of their needs and what their needs are going to be, who is in and likely to be in the portal, and they're going to do very well. So I can't answer the Chase Burns thing specifically because I haven't even found it legitimately from anyone that Burns is in the portal or going into the portal. That's one guy who's got a website who I've never even heard of. Maybe you have, but I don't know who that guy is. Noah Darling. He's got 1,063 Twitter followers. Sorry, maybe he's awesome and has all this great info and sources and whatever, but I don't know. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go to the bottom and come up. Less is more. Any ideas on how to get home from Omaha? Book flights here, but none return. Yeah, man. Rent a car and drive, or wait till like Tuesday. We're going through that with Hanny right now. So Hanny's up there, and the earliest flight he can get home is like Tuesday night. So he's going to try to get on standby and get something better. But let's see. Lou, do you think NIL will ever be strong enough where late first and second high school players opt for college? Yeah, Lou. But, I mean, that happens already, where guys have their number and decide if they don't get their number, they're going to go to school. I think NIL plays a piece of that. Like the conversation for years. Like, let's just use Bregman for example. Bregman told teams, if you don't draft me in the first round, don't take me because I'm not signing. If I'm not a first round pick, don't take me because I'm not signing. And so he didn't go in round one. He didn't sign. He came to LSU. Now, there was no NIL available at that time, but Bregman had made up his mind. Same thing with Dylan Cruz. And you do see that from guys who make the decision. I think there's two things. Number one, the level of play in college and the resources available have increased so dramatically that for a lot of guys, they'd rather go play 3 years of high-level college ball instead of riding a bus in the minor leagues. You can fly private, you can play in front of 10,000 people, you can play in the College World Series, you can face elite arms, you can play really competitive games, or you can ride a bus, play in front of 100 people, and it's just a totally different lifestyle for 3 years. And when your college career is done, you are more pro ready. So like Bregman's an outlier, but again, you're talking about a guy who plays his 3 years of college and then plays rookie ball, and the next season he's in the show in the summer. I believe he was July call up. So that's a dramatic difference than being drafted at 18 right out of high school, taking your $1 million signing bonus, which after agent fees and taxes leaves you with $600K, which is not nothing, and then you put that in the bank, and then you go make a pittance playing in the minor leagues, riding buses for 3-4 years, whatever it is, in hopes to make it to the pros, to the show. So I think for that reason, a lot of players are choosing college, but NIL can be an addition to. Like, do I think we'll get to a day where Dylan Cruz wants $6 million coming out of high school and says, if I don't get my number, don't draft me? And LSU says, LSU's collective says, we'll do $6 million in NIL deals? No, I do not think we will get to that point. That is exorbitant. So, anyway. Idaho, what's going on? Eddie Sanford, Brennan Huff, with how great Trey's playing at first, do you think he gets a chance to play first at the next level? I feel like you're trolling. Chris Demouy, what's good? Scone and Ott, the big guns. Demouy, you want to come on? Demouy, I got a segment for you, bro. Come on, text me. We'll connect if you got time today. I'm serious. Would love to do it. Father John David III, morning Scone, got into a discussion yesterday about Milazzo Travinsky being a good 1-2 punch and catcher for us. How did our catcher position compare with the rest of the SEC? Oh man. Well, all right, now I got to run through who LSU played. Now I got to go like sequentially and run through who LSU played. So Cole Messina from South Carolina was first team All SEC. Saw him when we played in Columbia, but only played 2 games. You saw Calvin Harris from Ole Miss, and you did not play. Well, you'll see him. Hang on, my bad. Sorry. There we Um, so you're going to see BT Riopel from Florida uh, this week, who is a veteran player and who's been around the league for a long time. He's a left-handed bat with some pop, and is a senior who's been around the league for a long time. So you've got some veteran guys throughout the league. With LSU, if you could combine Milazzo and Travinski, you'd have a pretty elite prospect. Milazzo as a defensive player, Travinski with the power in his bat. But because you are in somewhat of a platoon situation, and that doesn't even count the fact that Brady Neal was your catcher for the bulk of the season before his injury, who might be as a prospect have the higher ceiling as a guy who could be a really good defensive catcher, and the bat will continue to come along. But platooning at catcher isn't a bad thing. Look, Terrio brought this up yesterday, and I know we've mentioned it here, but you look back at the 2000 team. Brad Cressy won the Johnny Bench Award as the best catcher in college baseball, but Ryan Jorgensen was on that team as well. And Jorgensen didn't hit when he was in college, but Jorgensen was an elite defensive catcher and played in the major leagues. And Cressy didn't make it to the major leagues. So it's it's somewhat of a luxury to have multiple guys in a certain sense, because some pitchers might feel more comfortable with a certain catcher. Look at what's happened in Omaha, where you had a situation where the wind was blowing in, you're playing lower score games, and you leaned on the defensive guy more. Over the final month of the season, Hayden Travinski is a gigantic reason of why you were where you were, because you inserted him into the lineup, and his bat was just monster protection for Cruz and White and Morgan. Putting him right there in the cleanup spot. Okay, you want to pitch to Soto Popinski? Great, groove him a fastball and see what happens. You know what I mean? So, probably not answering your question great, but I think it's been plenty good enough this year. Lane said we need JT and JP to get something going today. Yeah, I would love to see the bottom of the order be more productive. Let's see, Matt. What's the story about the dog behind your right shoulder? That was my first child. That is Valley, who I got her. She was a purebred boxer. I got Valley when got Valley in 2004 after I graduated from LSU. And no, I'm sorry, it was 04. It was June of 04. I graduated December 04. I did one extra semester because I transferred. So anyway, I was a December graduate. So Valley was my little girl, man. And Valley died shortly after Drew was born. We were gone in Houston, and my sister and my brother-in-law watched the pups. I didn't have just Valley. You can't see, but here, this is a picture frame of Maggie. We ended up getting a second boxer. So I had Valley, and then we got Maggie. So I had two. The frame is just, the light on the frame is just glaring there. But yeah, we got home from the hospital with Drew in late February, beginning of March. And in May, she died. So haven't gotten another dog since. Maggie died not long, within a year after that. And then Erica had Turkey, the Maltese. This took a turn, didn't it? Erica had Turkey, the Maltese, who Turkey lived to be 17. And when we had to put Turkey down, we just haven't got another dog since. And Drew loves dogs. Actually, we're watching Hershey. Lauren, a.k.a. Larry, and her family are heading to South Carolina for Eli's Youth League, World Series, whatever, in Myrtle Beach. So we're watching Hershey while they go. So we'll have Hershey for a week. But haven't gotten another dog since, man. Roofing.com. If you need an orthopedist, call Brock. Need a roof, call Hudco. Let me remind you, if I could, that so wait, Eddie was defending the point about Travinsky, and Eddie, I know you were the one saying that Travinsky wasn't hurt and all this stuff. So I'm pretty sure that was you. So I don't know if you're a family member or whatever the case may be. I didn't say that. I'm telling you, a scout told me that. That's not to say he could only get fastballs. It was to say he was cheating to fastballs, loading up front, getting out ahead, and he did that. So again, I don't know your situation. Please don't take offense. It sounds like you are, like you're very defensive. So I don't know if that's a friend, a family member. And to be very clear, he's been magnificent. And I'm telling you, if the wind is blowing out and he's healthy, I want him in the lineup. So because you've now a couple of times jumped on here and been very defensive. So there are coexisting realities. Hayden had a rough day against Wake Forest the first time on Monday as a result of an injury. Maybe, like, I don't know. What I do know is it wasn't a great defensive day, and they put Milazzo in. And Milazzo defensively is a better defensive player. I think they've both served great roles for LSU. And if you're going to argue with a scout's take, you're arguing with someone who for 30 years spends every day professionally at a baseball field. I trust them. So, and you're saying the thing about you are being defensive. And I told you he was hurt, and I was right. Actually, we don't know that. Like, Jay Johnson has never been forthcoming about injuries, so why now? Maybe that's a cover. I don't know. Why was he swinging in the batting cage the other day, getting ready to pitch hit? I don't know. So again, maybe it's a family friend of yours. Maybe you know what. I don't know the reality there. But the truth is, there can be. Jay said it yesterday, and Jay lies. Jay lies a lot. Jay lies a lot. Yeah, he said it yesterday. And he also still to this point has not said anything about Chase Shores or Garrett Edwards having Tommy John. So maybe it's a cover to protect the player. I don't know. You don't know. Unless if tell me, like, maybe you're his dad and you could let me know. That would be really cool. Message me privately. I'd appreciate it. But this doesn't need to be any sort of contentious thing. Like, they both have been really beneficial and helpful to this team. And if Hayden's completely healthy and the wind is shifted and this is going to be more offensive, I want him in the lineup. So, but again, if you're going to say, am I going to trust you or someone who's got 30 years experience being at a ballpark every day, I'm going to trust that person's eyes more than yours. No disrespect, but that just makes a lot of sense, right? Anyway, let's just all be very unified in one today to say, like, hey, LSU's about to go play Florida for a national championship. They're 2 wins away. Like, they've overcome tremendous odds after losing on Monday to get to this point, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So everybody has taken on their roles on this team in whatever capacity they've needed, which is awesome to see. And they're 2 wins away. So, like, let's go do it. That's awesome. Anyway. All right, Alex G said off topic. What was the cigar you lit up after the win? I lit up it was a Cohiba Blue Label, and it was really good. All right, I got to go. I'm gonna go call that person back who probably has some info for me. And all right, so. Let me remind you, so YouTube, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you for being here. Facebook, please like the Matt Scone page, share the post. Shout out to Brock. After hours clinic is open today. Walk-ins are welcome. So alternative to the ER, remember, Brock. And Hudco, do me a favor, you, family member, friend, co-worker, whoever it may be, neighbor, if you had or think you might have had roof damage, would love the opportunity to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hudco's pinned in the chat. Please click the link and let folks know. All right, so real quick, let me run through the schedule again for today real quick. 4 o'clock pregame show with me and Ott. ESPN, Eagle 98.1, and the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. 5:30 network pregame on Eagle 98.1. 6 o'clock first pitch. T-Bob and I will be watching the game at Don Juan. As soon as the game ends, whiskey and wine on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Y'all have an awesome day. Go Tigers. Let's get it done. We'll see you for pregame and whiskey and wine tonight. Peace.